Our first award for the evening is in the Growing Inclusivity category. The person or institution who receives recognition in this category should be a recipient who has set an inspirational example by paving the way for others through the elimination of barriers, contributing to the knowledge that others can use, and having an overall effect on the image of the South African wine industry. And the award goes to Rydal Jeftha. Rydal Jeftha has made a remarkable difference over many years in the South African wine industry through expertise and true leadership. Not only in emerging agriculture, but also in spearheading various important initiatives.
520 hektaar wingerd het ek mee begin, maar ek het intussen uitgehaal. En dan het ons die 4000 ton kelder. En ons pars nou 3000 ton, want die wingerd het ouer geraak, maar ons het ook die kwaliteit verbeter. Die afgelope 5 jaar was uiters moeilik. Want ons het deur die droogte hier, Day Zero was op ons doorstep, dankie Here, ons het daar deur gekom. Toe kom COVID en nou kom loadshedding. So om positief te bly is absoluut noodsaaklik vir enige persoon, want dit gaan jou insluk as jy nie.
He has taken empowerment to the next level with the groundbreaking Thandi Wines Empowerment Project, and especially with the Koopmanskloof Vineyards, the first and largest fair trade exporter in the world. Here, he has been the CEO and Managing Director for the past 16 years.
Ons was pioniers in die transformation environment. Ons is 51% swart besit, swart eienaarskap. Ons werkers besit ook hulle eie plaas 100%. Selfs die mense wat in die wingerd werk, was mentors vir my, want hulle benadering was doelgerig, ons moet die job klaarmaak. En dit is waar ek sal sê my groot leerskool was.
Rydal also boasts with the first fair trade wine to win a gold medal in London in 2004.
Ek gaan fokus en ek gaan doelgerig wees. En ek gaan die span lei op 'n manier waar ons resilience gaan bou en uitstraal. Kyk, die drywerstok moet stres. En ons gaan ons nie gevrywaar word nie. Ons is mos maar net die custodians. So ek voel ons moet net ons fokus bou, gedetermineerd wees en persevere.
He truly is an inspiration to our wine industry and its future generations. The next award is in the category Wine Advancement. The person or institution who receives recognition in the Wine Advancement category should have made noticeable contributions towards the image of wine and the responsible use of it, as well as building the image of the South African wine industry as a whole through their reach. And the award goes to Wendy Jonker. Wendy has always gone above and beyond to put the industry's best interest at heart. Her integrity is impeccable, and she will ensure that good corporate governance prevails in all spheres in which she is involved.
I think the core building block of good governance is integrity. So for me, as a government official, it's important to have integrity. Something that was taught to me by my parents, which I thank them for, was that they said, you have to do the right thing no matter what. And we are all luckily hard-working children, but I thank my parents for that.
As the Administering Officer of the Liquor Products Act, appointed by the Minister of Agriculture, Wendy has been instrumental in representing government in bilateral and multilateral negotiations in the International Organization of Vine and Wine, the World Wine Trade Group, and the European Economic Partnership Agreement.
I think it's important for government and for industry as a whole to work as a partnership. I think you cannot enhance the wine industry, grow the wine industry, and also for government it's important that there should be proper service delivery, that we should build capacity, that we should transfer technical knowledge. So that's all part of the whole process of accrediting other labs.
Wendy has played an integral role in the development of an online export platform for South Africa's wine industry and is responsible for the ongoing development and day-to-day running of the import and export system for the second largest export industry in the country.
I was fortunate to be able to write the specifications for the 109 system. I first wrote the specifications for the laboratory system, which then formed the basis of the 109 system. The benefit is that there is only one system like this in the world, being able to trace wine back to the grapes and also going forward to trace the wine into the export consigning country. And I'm so thankful for this opportunity, and I hope that I'll be able to work here till the day that I'm told or have to leave, and I'll never stop loving the industry until the day I die. So I'm so blessed.
The next award is in the category Viti and Viniculture. The person or institution who receives recognition in the Viti and Viniculture category should have developed new ideas, technologies and methods within the winemaking industry, implementing and transferring these ideas and methodologies, changing mindsets and ultimately benefit the South African wine industry overall. And the award goes to Dr. Erna Blancquaert. Dr. Erna Blancquaert lives her qualifications and skills with an embedded passion to empower others.
I try my utmost best to actually encourage the new generation to show them what viticulture is about. And this can only be achieved by actually being with your students in the field where you can show them the science behind grapevine, and of course trying to also understand it on a completely different level.
Erna is the first female of color to obtain a PhD in viticulture on the African continent. As lecturer in grapevine and wine sciences and postgraduate supervisor at Stellenbosch University, she has been working tirelessly to build a pipeline of black researchers.
I do like to see a more transformed wine industry, as when I was a student there wasn't anyone that looked like me, and I think that is one of the key drivers for me embarking on this journey.
Erna has been recognized globally, receiving multiple accolades such as the prestigious Fulbright African Research Scholar Award in 2018.
The Fulbright is one of the very prestigious award which is funded by the US government. I spent my Fulbright in the laboratory of distinguished Professor Marcus Keller. Marcus Keller is internationally renowned for his work in grapevine physiology.
She is also working rigorously to be the first international Master of Wine of color from Africa.
Doing the Master of Wine, of course, gives me the opportunity to interlink even and link it onto my research, because I have a full comprehension of what happens in the vineyard straight through to what the consumer wants.
She forms part of a viticulture community that ensures South Africa remains the wine-producing country to be reckoned with by the world. There is no one more deserving of recognition than Dr. Erna Blancquaert. And now for the 1659 Visionary Leadership Award. The person or institution who receives recognition in the 1659 Visionary Leadership Award category should have made an essential contribution towards the industry of which there must be substantial evidence. The industry or a specific aspect thereof must have been positively influenced by it and must have had a lasting impact, with all indications of a special legacy. It must be worthy of praise and significantly change people's thinking and lives. There must be clear indications of intellectual conceptualization of the idea, which must be creative, innovative and unique, and has already been proven in practice. It should encourage and inspire others in the industry to do the same or even better. The award goes to Ken Forrester. Ken Forrester, aka Mr. Shannon, has had a profound impact on the South African wine industry as a flag bearer for the cultivar Chenin Blanc and the country.
Ken Forrester. I actually call him Soutie, or if I'm in a good mood, I call him Engelsman. And we're great friends. And Ken came to the Cape, actually Stellenbosch, and everyone sort of eyes open up. What is this guy going to do in the wine industry? He's a foodie.
Ken's background as a restaurateur, somebody who went to hotel school and learned to cook and things like that and running hotels, his focus was always the food aspect of the wine. It wasn't just about the wine. It was how does this fit in with the food that we want to present.
And then he arrives here, but already then, he had a vision, and I could see it in his eyes. He had a vision on going forward with Chenin Blanc.
This person with all those immense people skills, a love of food and wine, coming down into the wine industry. I think he's one of the few real marketing people that have entered the wine industry in the last 40 years, which is the length of time I've been in the wine industry. And he's been a major asset. He's really made a massive contribution to South African wine.
Talking about Ken in terms of his innovation and what he brings, I think I'm perhaps more classical in my winemaking or in my thinking, perhaps, whereas Ken was all over the place, and he'd come to me with challenges. He'd say things to me like, I want to make the best Chenin Blanc in the world. And I'd say, Ken, you're crazy. I mean, why the heck would we want to do that? So it's there's so many good people making great wine. Why can't we just make a good Chenin Blanc? No, it has to be the greatest Chenin Blanc in the world. Okay, Ken. How are we going to do that? No, I don't know, but let's try.
He's got all these grand ideas and grand plans, but he executes.
He's straightforward. He tells you what he wants and what he's going to do, and he stays true to his word.
He's innovative, he comes up with ideas, but he doesn't just throw them out there. He actually makes sure that they happen, because he's a doer, not a sayer, and he's a guy that basically ensures that people around him help him to make things happen.
He's that person that's so humble, that's so focused on the people in the industry and the people across the industry, from farm worker level up to winemaker level, up to farm owner level, to make that impact as an industry leader in the wine industry, to deliver a sustainable growth in the wine industry.
Ken is actually a very kind person. He helps you if you need his help, and he gives it and he promises it to you, and he does, and he delivers on it.
I was working at Janus, like waitressing. They specialize more in pizzas. So I met Ken, and Ken was like, we need to educate you, since you're doing opera, it's a classical music, and you have to like know also about wines, because it's connecting. And then he paid for my like level 1 WSET wines, and then now I started waitressing more in wines.
It's incredible to have a passionate people's person looking after a particular wine category, because around the world people know him, and he has this ability to put across a really good message, and he can stand up anywhere and make it sound exciting and interesting, and his enthusiasm is infectious.
And I think in the whole industry, everybody knows his way of working and why he's so successful, because he is such a hard-working guy.
Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. Success comes from what you do consistently. And that is what makes Ken so more special.
What he did for Chenin Blanc, what he did for the South African wine industry was enormous, still enormous. His contribution towards promoting South Africa wine industry in general, and also obviously his brand, how we managed to get that brand going in about 10 years' time, absolutely amazing.
But he was also the promoter of other varieties, that, not the only one, of course, as he is also not the only one with Chenin Blanc, but he was the promoter of other grape varieties that didn't perhaps have quite the esteem that they have now. Things like Grenache, for instance, which he has promoted heavily and done a lot of work in, not just in terms of finding vineyards, but also in terms of clones, developing clonal material, things like that.
It would be a sad day when somebody like Ken starts slowing down. I don't think he's going to do that anytime soon, but he's inspired enough people to take over his role in the Chenin Blanc category and in the wine category or wine industry in general.
He's inspirational, he's energetic, and his sense of humor will make you laugh. What an incredible person to have in your friendship circles, within your business circles. Him himself has also proven himself as a fantastic entrepreneur, as a great businessman, and he's achieved great results for himself and personally within the industry of winemaking.
Maar Ken, hy's ook 'n manneman. Hy kuier lekker met die boys en hy's nog 'n stout gat ook. Weet, as hy eers sy oogies so begin flikker en hy begin so 'n smile op sy gesig kry, dan jy weet hier's groot moeilikheid aan die kom.
Ken, congratulations on this achievement, and we're all very proud of you, especially in the Chenin Blanc Association. Cheers.
Ken, my friend, my very, very good friend, I congratulate you most warmly on this award. I know that it's going to mean a lot to you, and I think it's tremendously well deserved. Thank you. Cheers, Ken.
Cheers to Ken Forrester. You are a visionary leader, and you're a great man, Ken.
Congratulations, Ken Forrester. Now I'm a big believer. Anything is possible. The best Chenin in the world. Thank you.
Soutie, Engelsman, I salute you.
All the people who've had an influence and all the people who've left something with me, I've got to thank Chenin Blanc. Without Chenin Blanc, none of this would be possible. Chenin Blanc was, when we started growing grapes, making wine in 1993, known as Steen perhaps, but very few people had it bottled. Very few people were doing anything great with it. I worked in France, a fantastic man, Bernard Germain, who I owe a debt of gratitude, Bernard was a renegade in France. He dared to put Chenin Blanc on the front label and lost his status as Sauvignon. He was not allowed to be called Sauvignon because he called himself Chenin Blanc. He was really 20 years ahead of his time. And I learned with him. I worked with him for three vintages. He was the most inspiring man. I brought him here to South Africa. We had a Chenin Blanc conference with him as our guest speaker, as our keynote speaker. And Chenin Blanc has been, what can I say? It's been the wheel that we've pushed. It's been the cart that we've pushed. It's been what we've worked on. And when I look today and I look at what's happened in the industry today, where South Africa has more Chenin Blanc planted than anybody else in the world by more than double. And I look at the youngsters today who kind of think, well, it's just quite normal you make Chenin Blanc. Of course you make Chenin Blanc. Where I've come from, where there were possibly 10 people bottling Chenin Blanc, today there are over 500 people bottling Chenin Blanc. Chenin Blanc is the white wine of South Africa. And I can only say it justifies my ultimate belief throughout life that a rising tide will lift all boats. And Chenin Blanc has been that tide. Clearly, this is probably one of the very happiest days of my life. I didn't get here alone. It certainly wasn't just me. Every single person who at some point in my life had a hand in this, and I mean every single person. I can go back to when I was 5 years old, and there was a man who used to deliver the post on a bicycle, and I'd go riding with him, and I'd deliver to one side of the street, he'd give me the numbers, and he'd go to the other side of the street. And it was just right from early days, my English teacher at school, my Afrikaans teacher later on in life, to every single person who at some point left something with me, something to take with me and something to kind of enrich me. And it's been a fantastic journey. I have to say that my wife, my family, my parents, everybody that's been supportive all the way through this. In 1993, when Mr. Mandela was about to take over as the first president of the country, we took the chance and we bought 50 hectares of Stellenbosch. It was a difficult time, really, and I had some people saying to me, I hope you bought a return ticket. It's not going to be that easy. And fortunately, we've never had to use that return ticket. We did make some wine. We've kept on making some wine. We've broadened our offering. We've kind of been very fortunate. We've been well accepted. We've won some wonderful prizes. We've had some fantastic awards, but nothing quite like this. This is the cherry on the top. This is something entirely special. More than I could have imagined. I had no idea. I never expected, never thought, never saw this coming. It was a big surprise. So thank you very much to every one of you who had something to do with it.